In this tutorial, we're going to look at how to set up surround sound routing inside Logic. So first of all, we're going to go to the TI section of Blackboard, go to the resources section, go to the audio recording, mixing, mastering and finishing part, scroll down to the studio that you're using. At the moment I'm just going to use the Studio 4 resource files, get the 5.1 resources, and then I'm going to use the SMPTE ITU 5.1 left, right, center, LFE, LS, RS test video. And I'm going to right click it and download it. Let's save that to the downloads, but I've already got a copy, so I'll just cancel that. And then in here as well, there's 5.1 surround sound audio files with each speaker labelled. And again, you can save those as well if you want to use those as some test audio files to make sure the things are going through the right speakers. So I'm just going to quit out of that, and I've got them here in the Finder window already downloaded. And the first thing I'm going to do is open up the audio MIDI setup to test that my patching is correct from the patch bay and to test that the speakers are actually going to the right one. So I'm going to change it to multi-channel here. I'm going to choose 5.1 surround, and I'm going to make sure the left speaker is going to output 1, the right speaker is output 2, the center speaker is output 3, the LFE or sub is speaker 4 or output 4, the left surround is 5, and the right surround is 6. I'm going to apply that and go done. And then I can quit out the audio MIDI setup. Now with this test video, if that's set up correctly and the hardware's been patched in properly, if I right click and open this with QuickTime Player 7 and press play, then it should play back through the correct speakers in the room. So let's have a little listen.
Front left, front left, front left, front left, front right, front right, front right, front right, front center, front center, front center, front center. Left surround, left surround, left surround, left surround, right surround, right surround, right surround, right surround.
So if you follow those instructions and you're hearing the speakers, if you're hearing the sounds through the correct speakers in the room, then you'd know that you've already set up the hardware correctly. Now it's just about setting up the software. So I'm going to open up Logic here. I'm going to create an audio track. I'm going to load up the preferences and go to audio. And now I'm just going to change the sound card to tell Logic to use the MADI Extreme 1, which is the SSL sound card that's used in most of the studios. Then I'm going to change the output I/O assignments to the output selection, choose 5.1 ITU, make sure the left is 1, right is 2, 3 is center, 4 is sub, surround left is 5, surround right is 6. And now I'm just going to hit escape, and that will apply the changes to the sound card and the speakers. Next, I am going to import that same movie file. And again, much like we did with QuickTime 7, if we've set this part up correctly inside Logic, then we will actually hear this coming out through the correct speakers. So we can see here that we've imported a 5.1 file with those 5 speakers, and we see that the audio has been locked to the timeline, the video audio. So now if we just press play and test this through here, we can see we've got 5.1 surround panner for the channel, and if the master output, you can put a 5.1 level meter out, and we can actually see and make sure that the signals are being routed to the correct speakers, and that we're actually hearing them from the correct speakers in the room as well. So we can test that as we go and play back through this section here.
Front left, front left, front left, front left, front right, front right, front right, front right, front center, front center, front center, front center, left surround, left surround, left surround, left surround, right surround, right surround, right surround, right surround.
So now that we've tested and configured and made sure that logic is set up correctly, we can start on our own project. So we're just going to close that project down and start a new one here. And we're just going to remake the audio from that video. So I've got a movie here that doesn't have the audio attached to it. And I'm going to use those test files that we had to actually recreate that video. So some of the audio files will need chopping up, etc. And I've created 6 tracks, 6 audio tracks for the 5.1. First, I'm going to import the files from the downloads folder, these test audio files. It asks us if we want to change the sample rate to match the audio file, so we do. So I'm going to do that there, and then quickly flash forward a little bit here and import the rest of those tracks and put them into the right order. I've got left, right, centre, LFE, left surround, right surround. And we see that they're all mono files here, and what you need to do in order to create a kind of proper surround sound mix is we need to tell the mono files to be a surround sound output. So I've highlighted all those tracks there and selected from the output part surround, and now we have a surround sound panel in place of our regular left-right panel. Now this is a very interesting aspect of how Logic deals with 5.1. We can literally turn off the speakers we don't want stuff sent to. So if I want that going only to the front left speaker, I can just leave that one on. This one here, I'm going to just turn off all the other speakers except for that front right. And we can kind of follow that through and finish up with the rest. So the center speakers there is just going to the center. Now anything you want going to the LFE, we actually turn off all the 5 speakers that you see there, and the 0.1 we've got a level meter here. I'm just going to put that to 0 dB, and that will send all of that just to the LFE or the sub. And then this one I'm going to send that just to the left surround, and this to just the right surround. So all of those are now going to the correct speakers within Logic.
Front left, front left, front center.
So we can see the front center there doesn't match up with the visual there, so we're just going to swap that round and put the front right there. And I've just re-edited those so they actually match up and align with what's in the video. And now if we look at the level meter again, and we can now see when we play back this that everything is going to the correct speakers.
Front left, front left, front left, front left, front right, front right, front right, front right, front center, front center, front center, front center. Left surround, left surround, left surround, left surround, right surround, right surround, right surround, right surround,
So that's how you kind of route signals out to the 5.1 speakers in Logic, but there's kind of an alternative surround sound routing options in the sense that you might have multiple tracks that you want going to the individual speakers or sets of speakers, etc. So you will probably not just have the kind of finished 5 tracks for the speakers. You might want to send several sound effects or dialogue pieces to individual speakers. So rather than send it to a surround sound output, you can send it to a bus. So if you send the output of the channel to a bus and you turn the input of that bus into a surround sound bus, then it will allow you to do what we did earlier on and customize the speakers and say which one it's going to. So here we can see that the surround sound bus has been chosen. We send it to bus 2 and we can have a bus that is just the right speaker, the front right speaker. So we can do that for all the speakers, and then you can send several signals out to these speakers very, very easily, and you don't have to worry about setting up the panner each time in Logic. You can just send signals directly to the speakers via the buses, which can be really, really handy. So let's have a look at that.
front left, front left, front left, front left, front right, front right, front right, front right, front center, front center, front center, front center, left surround, left surround, left surround, left surround, right surround, right surround, right surround, right surround,
So in addition to having a bus for an individual speaker, we can actually have a bus for a pair of speakers or a setup. So we could have the front 3 speakers, the left, centre and right. We could have a bus set up for that. We can have a bus set up for just the rear speakers where lots of people put reverbs and music in the surround. And here we've just got the output of the bus as a surround sound setup. And we can actually just change the arrangement of the signal going to those back speakers by turning off those front 3, and then anything that we're sending from this channel here we can now see is being sent to the left surround and the right surround instead of the front left.
front left, front left, front left,
If we switch that round and turn on those front 3 speakers, let's just rename that there, LCR, and if I change the panning position, we can now
front
see
left,
that the signal is being sent to
front
the left,
left,
centre and right speaker.
front right,
And we can change the panning position within that radius of those 3 speakers as well.
front left,
We can see that that's changing on the level
front
meter.
left, front left, front left,
So those are just a few of our sort of surround sound routing options that we can use with buses inside Logic itself. But we'll go back to our direct routing, and now we're going to assume that we've finished the project and we want to bounce it and export it. So we're just going to do a quick save and make sure you save the project folder or save the file correctly. So now we can export the audio back to the movie by going to File, Movie, Export Audio. And we're going to keep it as a linear PCM, which basically is a WAV file. Going to change the sample rate. It defaulted there to 44.1, but we're going to change that to 48 for video and keep the bit depth now at 16-bit. And just by clicking OK there, we can make sure it's in the right directory, and it does it very, very quickly in Logic because it's just adding the audio back to the video. So there's no re-rendering or recoding of the original video file, which takes a long time. So if we go into here now, open this with QuickTime 7 and just double check that our surround sound's still set up properly, so we'll hear this in correct speaker order inside the studio. Now if we play this back in QuickTime 7, it will actually automatically play through the correct speakers.
Front left. Front left. Front left. Front left. Front right. Front right. Front right. Front right. Front center. Front center. Front center. Front center. Left surround. Left surround. Left surround. Left surround. Right surround. Right surround. Right surround. Right surround.
Now this doesn't necessarily always happen, depending on which studio you're using and what program you're using for your exporting of surround sound. So sometimes you need to go to the Show Movie Project settings and then go down to the Sound tab, and where it says the channel assignment 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it has the assignment to left, right, center, LFE, left surround, right surround. Sometimes you need to change that to discrete. If you click on it, there's a drop-down menu, and sometimes you need to change it to discrete 0 to 5, and that will actually send it out of the first 5 available, well, the first 6 available channels out of your sound card. So sometimes you need to do it like that, but always test it in that way. Use one of the test files first from Blackboard, make sure that the room is set up correctly, and then if there is anything wrong with your export, you can change the discrete channels appropriately and then go File, Save in QuickTime 7, which will actually save that configuration so that the next time you open the file in QuickTime, it will automatically play correctly in surround.